So we're gathered at the BIC with 9 of your favorite everyday machines. We've got 5 hatches, 4 sub-4 meter compact sedans, and these are the kings of miles per gallon. But here at AutoX, we're more interested in smiles per gallon. And that's why we're at the BIC. We want to find out if you can use any one of these very sensible everyday machines on a Monday to Friday and still have a little bit of fun if you're so inclined. So let's hit the track and see which one brings out the big absolutely nothing. This is a great everyday family machine. It's got plenty of space, it's got plenty of refinement, it's got plenty of usability, and the chassis is extremely capable. We're just going to leave it in third and see if we can carry some speed going through this corner. There you have it, folks. It's one lap in the Hyundai Xcent. Here we are, folks, Honda Amaze. To say that the Amaze has been an important car for Honda in India, would be a gross understatement. This is the car that started the revival for Honda. They developed a brand new 1.5 litre, 100 horsepower diesel engine, a diesel which in Honda parlance was, in the past, it was agricultural, and it was something that was completely at the other end of their philosophy, because they're known for making free revving, smooth, high revving, absolutely brilliant petrol engines. So right off the bat, it feels like there's a little bit less insulation in the cabin of this car compared to some of the others. There's a little bit more wind noise, but on the whole, I really like the cabin. People have complained about maybe some of the corners and the plastics and stuff not being an exact fit, but I think it's a really refreshing change from all the other cars. I like the pods and the speedometer and the tach. I like the steering wheel, nice thick chunky steering wheel. I love the gear shift. It's just a fantastic gear shift. So it's the quickest sub-4 meter sedan that we've driven so far. And it certainly feels the quickest. It has the most horsepower, and it's able to put that power down onto the road. So there you have it, folks. That's the Honda Amaze. Clearly the car with the most power in this group. Also perhaps the one with the most noise filtering into the cabin, but it's not something that I find very distracting on the road. It's very comfortable, it's very spacious, it's got a lot of room back there. It is built to Honda standards of sort of engineering integrity, and that's clearly reflected in the lap time. Here we are, the brand new Tata Bolt. So first impressions of the Bolt are that it feels like the cabin is sculpted towards the needs of the driver, and that's always a good sign. You've got, again, the really chunky 3-spoke steering wheel that's just the right diameter. It's small and it feels sporty. You've got the gear lever that falls perfectly to hand. It's not the most precise throw in the world, in terms of how the gears actually shift, but it's positioned right and it does the job. So while the seat is good, it's nice and supportive, it holds you firmly in place. The steering wheel is a nice 3-spoke chunky wheel. Everything feels like it's in tune with the driver. The actual steering feel itself it sort of keeps you guessing when you're in the middle of these long bends. It weighs up a little strangely, and while the Zest has a little bit of it, it feels accentuated in the Bolt. What's troubling me a little bit though is the steering feel. It just feels like it's getting a little too heavy. It's kind of got a rubbery sort of feel to it, and it's just not giving me a lot of confidence. I'm getting a lot of complaints from the tires. There's actually not that much body roll. It's strange because the Zest feels like it goes down the road a lot nicer than this machine. So there you have it, folks. That's a fast lap in the Tata Bolt. It's not the most enjoyable car to throw around the racetrack. On the road you don't notice some of the deficiencies that the steering wheel has, but the track certainly highlights some of the shortfalls. A Maruti Suzuki Swift, which was an extremely popular hatchback with a boot on it. And this has been no less popular. This is the car that has absolutely cemented this segment as one that can give a manufacturer incredible volumes, and as one that can provide the Indian family with a sedan that has a reasonably sized boot and, well, the status that comes with having a sedan versus a hatchback. Immediately you get into this car and it's a lot more urgent and it feels a lot faster down the street. Well, they've been able to retain the gear shift with rifle bolt precision. The steering has gone electric, so it's not quite as precise, but so here we are in the most recent recipient of the Indian Car of the Year award, the Hyundai Elite i20. And like the i20 that came before it, it just feels that little bit more refined, that little bit more grown up than any of the other hatches on the market. It's got everything about this car is buttery smooth, including the gear shift. It's got a really nicely put together cabin. It's got a beautiful dashboard. It's got really striking styling, and this car really stands out when you see it on the road. And believe me, you're seeing a lot of them on the road. It's just completely malleable, completely fluid, and it follows your every command. Hyundai seem to have reached a stage in their development where they've just hit a sweet spot. They seem to be developing things just right, and they certainly seem to have that pulse on the finger of the market. Now granted, this car is not the sportiest car in the world to drive. It doesn't have the sharpest turn in, but having said that, it's extremely compliant and it's a very, very easy car to drive at 10/10 on the limit on the racetrack. It's got a 6-speed transmission versus the 5-speed in all the other cars here. We're in 4th gear at full pelt, going down the back straight, touching about 150 kilometers an hour before braking for C4. And of course we expected the i20 to be among the fastest cars in this test, but what it's reiterated is that it's the most refined, relaxed, calm place to be in amongst all these machines. So here we are in the Volkswagen Polo 1.5 TDI. This is essentially the 1.6 litre diesel engine, which they've downsized to 1.5 litres. They've made it more refined, and there's just something about Volkswagens, and there's something about this car where it just feels like you've moved up a class compared to some of the other cars here. The plastics are a little bit nicer. Everything feels like it's been more finely engineered. The turn-in is really sharp. This gear shift, unfortunately, is a little bit clunky, and on the track at least it's going to cost you a little bit of time. On the road, not so much, but certainly on the track, you wish that it was just a little bit nicer to slot into gear. Very good turn-in. It's just incredibly sharp and precise. Even through the parabolica, you can just keep your foot flat down, and the car just races towards the exit of the corner. I like the little touches in the cabin. I like this silver finish they've put onto the center console. I love this flat bottom steering wheel, and this is a really well engineered machine. The 90 horsepower Punto Evo, ladies and gentlemen, and of course it's got the Fiat 1.3 litre multi-jet that produces 90 horsepower. But really, what's special about this car is what Fiat has managed to do with the looks as well as the interior with the facelift of the Punto Evo. They've definitely added some of that Italian flair into the way the Punto Evo looks, as well as the styling on the inside. It's got a really nice cascading center console, and it looks pretty special from the outside as well. This car seems to be complaining a little bit with the way I'm driving it. I think I'm going to have to keep it in a higher gear rather than putting it in third and having it bouncing off the red line. They seem to have lightened the steering wheel as well a little bit for in-city use, which is making it just a little bit more imprecise, at least on the track. So there you have it, folks. A fast lap around the BIC in the Punto Evo. And whereas I feel that the dynamics previously in this car may have been a little bit better, I'm actually quite looking forward to driving the 135 horsepower version. So here we are in the very familiar Maruti Suzuki Swift. If there ever was a car that had the makings of a hot hatch, it was this one. Suzuki, of course, sold a much hotter version of this car in the West, in Europe, and especially in the UK. The Swift Sport, which had a 1.6 litre engine, it had these beautiful twin exhausts at the back, and it was a car that Suzuki should really have brought to India, because it would have been a great halo car. Very little difference between the way this and the Dzire drives. It's got that rifle bolt precision as far as the gear shift is concerned. It's got a 5,000 RPM red line, which in this company is actually pretty good. Shoots towards the apex, a little bit of a drift mid-corner. The tires feel like they could give up a little bit when you're doing this kind of cornering, but it keeps it together. I must say the Swift is very well behaved on the track, and there's just something about the way they're able to tune this engine. It just has that little bit extra punch compared to any of the other cars that use this engine, of course. There you have it, folks. The Swift remains one of the most entertaining hatchbacks on the market even today. finally, we're in the new kid on the block, the Tata Zest. And both the Zest and the Bolt have got a lot of praise for putting Tata Motors back on the map. It's already helped them a hell of a lot in the sales charts, and there are a couple of things that they've got spot on, but the car itself is really planted. The cabin is a nice clean design. They've got a Harman engineered infotainment system which is very good. So clearly there are things in this car that serve you very well indeed, whether it's on a daily basis or whether you're trying to pound down a mountain road, or in this case a racetrack. There are some plastics which are a little questionable. There's a lot of wind noise coming in now. So very, very close between the Zest and the Dzire. The Dzire just pips it in the end, but this is certainly a great place to start for Tata Motors. This is a comeback that is completely warranted from this company.